call this meeting to order. Mr. Curtis, I'd like to ask you to please highlight the Employee of the Month, please.
Madam Chairman, it's always my distinct pleasure and honor to talk about positive things and people who work very hard in our school district. Thank y'all for being here tonight. We've got great individuals who work for Cannon Schools. And this summer has been a tough summer on lots of folks. We honored principals and the principal's commitment last month. And I would like to honor tonight and give them a nice certificate in honoring our maintenance division, our maintenance department. Facility Supervisor Melanie Sissom has done a tremendous job with her staff and working this summer. And what I'd like to also do, Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'd like to honor custodians individually at their school. I'd like to do something nice for our custodians and present them a certificate at their individual schools throughout the year, but I'd like to do that within this next month and honor our custodians and thank them for the job that the Herculean effort would be what I would say, that to get our schools ready to go during restructuring and modernization. So this time I'd like Supervisor Melanie Sissom, our facilities coordinator, to come and for her to we'll get a picture, and she's going to display this. Where are you going to display it? At the maintenance department?
Maintenance department.
There you go. There you go. Melanie, maintenance, would you honor our maintenance workers? Who are they? Our maintenance workers that work pretty hard.
Taylor Ford and I got Taylor Ford and Rex Sissom that worked with me the whole summer, and then I added one guy at the end. He's been with me 3 weeks. That's Jordan Berry. But those guys have worked very hard all summer trying to take care of everybody.
And I'd like to also give a special shout out to a person that helped not only food service, but all of us, and that is our person that we contracted with, who had the contract truck that came and moved some things.
Oh, that was with Jennifer Enzel. She hired that guy out of Manchester.
So he came. Dennis came and brought a crew and very minimal cost, and it was just a great effort on everybody's part to do so. So congratulations. Natalie's done double work, by the way, too, she was trying to get the former Woodbury Grammar School's books all complete and done too. We'd like to recognize those bookkeepers that have gone the extra mile, Madam Chairman.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Melanie. We appreciate you very much. Mr. Curtis, can you please call the roll?
Give me just a second,
You're
Madam Chair.
fine. Take your time.
Mr. McMackins.
Here.
Mr. Mullins.
Here.
Ms. Gannon.
Here.
Ms. Thomas.
Here.
Chairman Duggan. Madam Chairman, you have 4 members present, 1 absent. Let the records reflect that Chairman Duggan is out. And you, Madam Chairman, Letha Thomas, is the acting chairman of this meeting.
Thank you very much. We miss Chairman Duggan tonight. She is at a month-long leadership meeting with the Army Air National Guard. We appreciate her for her service. So, item number 1 on the agenda tonight is to approve the agenda. Do I have a motion?
Madam Chairman, if I would, before
Yes.
the motion is made, we need to revise the agenda to add to the consent agenda in elementary school basketball coaches, and also would like to revise and put the FFA National Convention trip. That came in a few days ago, but I went ahead and added since we were revising the agenda. Ms. Bonnie Patterson to address the board at the meeting. I know she addressed it at the workshop, but address the board at the meeting for possible motion. And then add number 14, approve bus bids. That's the special education buses that you've already approved. You approved the purchase. Now you got to approve the bid that was submitted today. And then change number 15 to number 31. So we get a motion to revise.
I'll make a motion, we revise the agenda and approve the revised agenda.
I'll second.
Move 15 to
31.
Well, 15 through 31, everything goes up. That was on that
Everything goes
original
up.
agenda that
Thank
was submitted. Everything goes up.
Mr. Curtis, call the roll, please.
Motion made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Mr. McMackins to revise the agenda and also to approve the revised agenda, to add consent agenda, and to add elementary school basketball coaches and FFA National Convention trip, add Ms. Bonnie Patterson to address the board at the meeting, add number 14, approve bus bids, and change all numbers from number 15 through 31. Mr. McMackins.
Aye.
Mr. Mullins.
Aye.
Ms. Gannon.
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
I'm sorry, Acting Chairman Thomas.
Aye.
4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Number 2 on the agenda tonight is the consent agenda, A through F. Mr. Curtis.
The consent agenda, A, approve the minutes of the July 14, 2022 meeting of the board. B, approve resolution to transfer funds from one account to another within a series for food service, federal, and general purpose. C, approve Addie Harwood as a non-faculty Cannon County High School cheerleading assistant coach. D, approve Derek Mullins as a junior lines football coach assistant. E, approve Jordan Anderson, Aaron Bush, Stephanie Hamby, Ronnie Arnold, and Hope Young for 4th and 5th grade basketball coaches. And F, overnight and out-of-state trips, the National FFA Convention 10/24/2022 to 10/29/2022 in Indianapolis, Indiana. Mr. McMackins. I'm sorry about that. You need a motion, Madam Chairman.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr. Curtis.
Motion made by Ms. Gannon, seconded by Mr. Mullins to approve the consent agenda. Mr. McMackins.
This is also pending right upon approval like we always do with our backgrounds.
Absolutely, sir.
Okay. I'll vote yes.
Mr. Mullins.
Aye.
Ms. Gannon.
Aye.
Ms. Thomas.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Number 3 on the agenda tonight was an update from our architect, Gregor Smee. That was the workshop only. I'd like to thank Ms. Sissom for stepping in and doing that for him on last night, not Tuesday night. Number 4 on the agenda is a safety report. And Ms. Bonnie, can you please take the floor?
Yes, it has come to my attention over the past 2 days that we're in a situation without having to go into detail because of HIPAA, but we are in need of a 4th nurse. I've talked to you numerous times that this could occur with children that come into our community and our county schools that have high medical needs. That has happened. And I'm needing another nurse to make it work for the safety of the children. They deserve to be here, and we want them to be happy and successful. So I've talked with Miss Stephanie about using some ESSER funds because that is a possibility. She says the money's there. I will post the position as an LPN position. I talked with my lead nurse, Leslie Pelham, who will be in charge of the hiring. I'll actually be in charge of the hiring, but she'll be with me because she knows specifics of what we need. But we can hire an LPN to be able to fill our needs. I will do it, hire it on a year basis as needed. I want to word it in that manner, because as children move in and move out, our needs may change. But that's what I'm needing. Thank you.
Mr. Curtis, does there need to be approval from the board on this to move forward?
That would just, you advise me to give permission for Director Curtis to hire an LPN for use in Cannon County schools. And then we can look at revising the ESSER as needed, amending that at a later date.
Anybody have any questions?
No.
Does that need to be a motion?
Yes, sir. I'd like to have a motion that just gives me
I make a
permission.
motion, we absolutely do this. This is a liability situation, and liability always trumps everything.
I'll second.
Thank you. We need to take care of all of our children. Ms. Bonnie, thank you for bringing this to our attention. Mr. Curtis, can you please call the roll?
Motion made by Mr. McMacken, seconded by Ms. Gannon, to give permission for Director Curtis to hire an LPN for use in Cannon County schools. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Acting Chairman Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Number 5 on the agenda is to approve the ELC epidemiology and laboratory capacity budget for the 2023 school year.
I'll make a motion, we approve the ELC budget.
I will second that. Mr. Curtis, can you call the roll?
Motion made by Ms. Gannon, seconded by Ms. Thomas, to approve the ELC epidemiology and laboratory capacity budget FY23, including all future amendments and addenda as presented. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Chairman Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Number 6 on the agenda tonight was the ESSER report, but that was at the workshop only, so we'll keep moving. Number 7 is to review the ESSER 2.0 and 3.0 budget for 2023, including the ESSER 3.0 public plan for the remaining funds, and the safe return to in-person instruction and the continuity of services plan. Mr. Curtis.
Madam Chairman, I would advise the board to, that the Cannon County Board of Education reviewed ESSER 2.0 and 3.0 budget FY23, including ESSER 3.0 public plan for renaming funds, addendum, and safe return to in-person instruction and continuity of services plan, and at the Cannon County Board of Education workshop on August 10th, 2022.
Yes, thank you, sir.
I'll make a motion that we reviewed item number 7 of the August meeting of 2022 at the August 8th
Workshop. Yeah, the
August
workshop on August the 10th, yeah.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Motion made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Ms. Gannon, that the Cannon County Board of Education reviewed ESSER 2.0 and 3.0 budget FY23, including ESSER 3.0 public plan for renaming funds, addendum, and safe return to in-person instruction and continuity of services plan addendum at Cannon County Board of Education workshop on August 10th, 2022. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Number 8 on the agenda tonight is to approve the Tennessee All-Core budget for the 2023 year. We did review that at the workshop. Is there any more discussion on that at all? Okay. If not, is there a motion to approve that?
I make a motion that we review.
And approve, you have to approve this one.
Oh, we have
Approve
to
that,
approve
yeah.
this one. I make a motion that we approve the Tennessee All-Core budget FY '23.
I'll make that second. Mr. Curtis, call the roll, please.
Yes, Madam Chairman. Motion made by Ms. Gannon, seconded by Ms. Thomas, to approve the Tennessee All-Core Budget FY23, including all future amendments and addenda as presented. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Chairman Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Number 9 is to approve the ESSER planning grant budget for 2023. That also was discussed at the workshop in length. Are there any more questions concerning that budget?
I'll make a motion we approve the ESSER planning grant budget FY23, including all amendments and addendas.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Motion made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Ms. Gannon, to approve Tennessee Best for All District Grant Budget FY23, including all amendments and addenda as presented. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Chairman Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. All right. Number 10 on the agenda is to approve the Tennessee Best for All District.
Madam Chairman, can I make a
Yes. I
correction?
think that there needs to be a correction, Mr. Curtis. I think that you,
I'm sorry, I think I
That's
moved
okay.
on to number 10. Let's go back to number 9, and that's the ESSER
Yes,
planning
sir.
grant, if you don't care.
yes, sir.
I was jumping the gun.
That's okay. That was my, I caught that and I wasn't 100% sure.
All right, let's go to number 9 then. Approve the ESSER planning grant FY '23, including all amendments and addenda. Let's do that.
Yes, okay. Is there a motion for that?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Agenda item number 9, made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Ms. Gannon, to approve the ESSER planning grant budget FY '23, including all amendments and addenda as presented. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Chairman Thomas, you have 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Number 11 on the agenda is the financial report. I'd like to thank Ms. Diane for joining us the other night and all the work that Mr. Applebaum and Mr. Douglas put forth with all that. But that was for the workshop only, so we'll keep moving. We also have number 12 on the agenda, which was the facilities report. Ms. Sissom gave a very detailed and report for us. We appreciate that. Lots going on with our facilities, but we appreciate your work. That was at the workshop only, again, of course. Number 13 on the agenda tonight, David and Elizabeth Wilson would like to address the board concerning their daughter attending kindergarten. Mr. Wilson, if you'd like to step to the microphone, thank you.
First, I'd like to thank the board for hearing us tonight. The request I'm having is for the board to approve my daughter to attend kindergarten. And if I could, it would be a blessing for you guys to put a motion forth to approve that. Don't know if there's anything I need to answer or any questions that you guys may need to ask me for this.
Does anybody have any questions or discussions?
I don't. Do you have
Nobody?
anything?
Mr. Wilson, I did some investigating.
Okay.
And I will tell you that some decisions like this, for me at least, I'm not going to speak for the entire board. These are the types of decisions that are very hard. I have had to learn to think with looking at exactly what goes on, the precedents that will be set, the policies that are in place. I did some looking into this today, and the actual testing we talked about last night was actual kindergarten screening. At the moment, Cannon County Schools, we don't even have the testing in place that is required for this, is what I'm understanding and what I've been told. I looked at that in depth. I think, I know that there's been conversations with some of the ladies at the central office, and you guys are not the first that have asked this. It's the first time it's come to the board. But the policy, what they have always gone by is that rule of August the 15th. No matter what, there's been other families that have been told, I'm sorry, this can't happen. That is what I have found out.
Okay.
And I appreciate you guys being advocates for your daughter, because I'm a parent as well. And situations like this are very difficult. And I thank you for coming and being her champion and being her advocate.
So that's a no, I
Well,
guess.
no, that's what I investigated.
okay.
There, we have to vote as a
Have to
board.
vote, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's,
Well, I definitely appreciate, like I said, the board hearing our concerns. And of course, I guess that you guys have read it and saw that there is revisions for that. I know that if testing needed to be done outside of Cannon County, I could definitely have that done. Ms. Karen King, I think, has done some type of testing for kindergartners and things like that. So I don't know if that's a route that we could take, but if we could, do what we can, because I feel like I would hate to hold my daughter back for 72 hours. So if you could, put a motion forth to approve, and that's all that that I can truly ask for.
Any more discussion at all?
Mr. Curtis, was this brought to you before it was brought to us?
It was not, although I was briefed upon it. And looking at the law, TCA 49-6-3001B 2 and 2B, allows the school district some flexibility in allowing students who choose to not to do that, to close the age cutoff. We've never done that as a system. We've always agreed with the age cutoff. It is allowable, but we've always done that as a precedent in Cannon County to do it on the August 15th date. And you're correct, others have asked and done that, and previous administrations have not done that. And I've not done it in the 4.5 years that I've been here.
I called Ben today, our TSBA lawyer, and he said that everywhere around us is pretty strict on the August 15th. But he said his daughter didn't get in because of 4 days.
I emailed Ben and he told me the same thing with the SBA, so. And I know I spoke with you last night, and I guess I've kind of stayed quiet on it because I've been in the same situation you're in. So I got told that hard no, so I advocate you for doing it, but me personally, and if we do it for one, we're going to have to do for all. But I don't know about the testing. I couldn't find much on the testing today, what that all includes. Of course, we just had 1 day in between workshops, and we usually have 2. And I couldn't find much on the testing. Did you find anything on that today? Anybody?
I didn't.
I have looked at other systems who do that, and most of those are stringent things they have to go through beginning at their kindergarten registration time, pre-K registration or kindergarten registration time, and doing that. And they start the testing and do it then. Any advanced testing is when they do that.
But we don't have that in Cannon County.
We do not have that in Canyon in place right now. We'd have to research that and try to find some testing program that's been approved for do that, Madam Chair.
And quite honestly, what I think this has brought to light, like many other things that this board has seen in our tenure, is that there are a lot of things that need to be looked at as far as policies, and we need to have plans in place when things like this arise. We've met that a lot. So I do think that this needs to be looked at in detail, and we need to at least have that testing available when this comes up again. Something that we're lacking. Is there any more discussion? Is there a motion on the floor? Anybody have a motion?
I don't know.
I personally don't really.
In the mic there, please.
Sorry.
I've gotten some indications from the back they came here.
I don't really want me personally to open a can of worms that I'm not going to be here to help close.
This has to be,
Since my name was mentioned, I didn't know my name was going to be mentioned. Do you want me to come up there?
yes, ma'am, please.
I did not know I was going to be involved in this tonight. But I do know I had been contacted Tuesday night during the board workshop by someone that's a friend of this gentleman's, that I was involved in a court case that I can't divulge the specifics of about 3 years. Well, actually, it's students in third grade now. And it was separated parents that had joint custody. One wanted the student to start kindergarten, the other did not. And there was I don't know if it was a lawsuit, we went to court over it, and I was subpoenaed to court. So there were tests that were requested of me, and I think you and I may have had that discussion at the time, and I don't know, because I did not know I was gonna be, like, my name brought up tonight, but I just wanted to kind of tell you some background. I do still have a folder on that. There were some tests that we give to students who are entering kindergarten in the pre-K registration process before they start pre-K and before they start kindergarten. We use some of those tests. We also pulled in some tests that we use when we test students for gifted or special ed, that test for levels. This is not something that we do regularly, and I only did it because I was subpoenaed to court to give my professional opinion on whether this child was ready to start kindergarten. And I went to court and gave my professional opinion on that, and he did start kindergarten, but he was age appropriate at the time. I do know that we have things in place that if we have a student that is high, that we can place them in a grade ahead. If they are in third grade and we can prove that they are performing above grade level, we can put them ahead. I will also say that I could argue both sides of this, because once we do this, it sets a precedent. And we have always used the date. You are correct in that. The student that I went to court about was age appropriate, and we were able to prove that he was ready for kindergarten. But because my name was brought up, I just don't want it to be any gray, cloudy areas that we've done this before and now we're not doing it. So it's not something that we have in place. We don't have any concrete things in place to do this. But when he mentioned that I had done that before, that is accurate. We did do testing and were able to prove to a judge that he also agreed with us that he felt like this child was ready to start kindergarten, and he did. So I just wanted to kind of clear that up since my name was mentioned. This is something that we have done before, but it was because a judge requested, ordered. I'm not sure exactly how that worked out, but I was subpoenaed to court to testify professionally. So I just wanted to let you know why that was mentioned.
So who approved the testing in our system? Who approved you to do that?
Mr. Curtis and I had a conversation about it at the time. Because I was subpoenaed, I don't know that I had a choice. And the student was zoned for my school, and he had already gone through pre-K screening. And we had him on our roster, and mom was requesting the judge for him not to start school. He was age appropriate. Dad was requesting the judge for him to start school. And so we had to make a decision that the judge could make, like we had to make a recommendation that the judge could make a decision based on. So I was not prepared to speak tonight, but since my name, I know where that information came from and it was accurate. So I just wanted to kind of let you know.
I was just confused. We just heard we don't have any testing available, and then you're saying we tested.
Well, we don't have a process in place. And you also have to think, we go on that date that the state says that's the date for the cutoff. This child that I did testing on was age appropriate kindergarten. He was already 5 years
We're
old.
not really talking about the same thing here.
But did he do the same testing that every other kindergartner has to do?
We did a little bit of extra because the judge asked us to do that.
Ms. Karen, I think that may have been the year before, because I don't think I was the director under that case. I think that kid's in fourth grade now.
Third
Is
grade.
it third grade?
But it could have been before you
Yeah,
became
because
director.
I think that was during before I became the director.
Okay.
At that time.
So, and I don't know the specifics. I don't have the file with me. My name was mentioned. I don't want there to be cloudiness about what's going on, like we're doing something for one person and not for another. And I just wanted to clear up that child was age appropriate kindergarten,
Right.
but that we did do some testing on them. So that decision is still yours. That probably makes it about as clear as mud, but because my name was mentioned, I just kind of wanted you to have a little background on what that was.
Do you know what policy it is that we have about this? Because I'm on my phone and it's like hard to read the policies on here.
The policy, I can get that for the board, and anybody got that? Principals, more familiar with that policy on kindergarten registration? It should be in the student section. Can y'all, one of y'all look at
I'm in the
that?
student section, if you could direct me.
Okay, give me just. Okay, we'll speak louder. Principals, look on your phone right now and find me the policy that this has to do with, please. If you could do that, I would appreciate that. I can probably do it from here, but it'll take me a second to do that. Y'all can probably find it quicker than I do because y'all got it on speed dial.
Ms. Cossey, can you please say that again?
They're still
Thank
under,
you.
we're looking underway. I do know, Madam Chairman, in regard to TCA.
It's an actual state board policy, 4100.
Okay.
4100,
Thank you, Ms. Bonnie.
and that states the
State board policy, okay.
the state board, not ours, and it does state
Well,
that,
it'll be referenced in the attendance policy down in the subtitles somewhere, but it's a state board policy,
That's-
4100, age requirement.
that states the August 15th deadline. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Deadline, yes, ma'am. Okay. I don't know what that was.
I just know that because I had to look at the attendance manual or something else today.
Yeah.
Mr. Curtis, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am. Madam
Since
Chairman.
this seems to be a harder decision than just making a motion tonight among this board,
Right.
I would have to look at exactly about when Chairman Duggan would be coming back, because I think that you guys have reached out to Chairman Duggan as well. Is there such a thing as us having a special meeting with this family and some other supervisors that may not be able to be in attendance tonight?
It is prerogative of this board to meet at any time that a special call meeting, 48 hours notice to the general public, that it would be a public meeting, that anybody, Mr. Wilson and
It would have to be
those
a
could
public
test.
meeting, even though it's speaking about one specific child.
It is unless it's a discipline matter.
Okay.
The way I look at that, if it's a discipline matter, then the board adjourns for that time to consider a discipline type of situation.
Okay,
She's already missed a week of kindergarten.
she has? Yeah, if this is granted, she has.
Yep.
Anybody have an idea on that?
When does Chairman Duggan get back?
Need a date?
Is there a date where we're Chairman
Looking
Duggan?
for that right now.
Okay, I've got the calendar, so if you'd like to call a special session at that particular time to deal with this matter or anything else we find out between then and now.
She says through August. I wonder if there might be a time where she could have an evening where she could maybe Zoom. That might be an option. But I would like my other board members to weigh in on that one.
And that 4100 is related to attendance, it's not related to the date. But if you go to the state board, you can look that up and it'll tell you the exact number. I was wrong. I just pulled the state board up. It's just the attendance policy.
Okay.
And I will check with TSBA again and also check with some of my sources at the State Department of Education.
I make a motion, we have a special call meeting about this, date to be determined.
Date and time?
Date and time to be
To be
determined.
determined.
Okay.
I will second that, wanting to make sure that I can get in touch with Chairman Duggan to try to secure that date and time in the very near future,
Yeah.
very soon.
I'm sorry, who seconded that motion? Madam
I
Chairman?
did.
Okay, thank you. I was writing it down.
Please call the roll.
Motion made by Ms. Gannon, seconded by Ms. Thomas, for a special call meeting to be determined in the future, to be determined, and date and time to be announced 48 hours prior. Is that okay, Madam Chairman? Or Madam, you got Ms. Gannon that made the motion?
Yes.
Mr. Frank Atkins,
Aye.
Mr. Mullins, Ms. Gannon,
Aye.
Chairman Thomas.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4, none against. And we will look at the calendar and get with Chairman Duggan, and I'll let Mr. Wilson know as soon as I
We'll
can.
get back with you as soon as possible about a date, promise.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yep. Number 14 on the agenda tonight was one of the items that we approved to be revised. That is going to be the approval of a bus bid for 2 30-passenger buses for our special ed program. It will be paid by a sped budget. Ms. Black, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Just that those are the buses that that was the buses that we were purchasing, and special ed is gonna be able to pay for all of that, so none of that comes out of the transportation. And they went to bid under that, because of that, them buying it today, so we just need your approval.
Right.
That's it. They're paying for them. We're
Thank you.
good.
Wonderful. Do you have a motion to approve that bus bid?
I make a motion, we approve the bus bid.
Perfect.
A second.
Thank you. Mr. Curtis, please call the roll.
Motion made by Ms. Gannon, seconded by Mr. McMackins to approve the bid of Central States Bus Sales Incorporated, located at 303 Business Park Drive, Lebanon, Tennessee, to purchase 2 30+1 2018 Bluebird Vision Type C school buses for $59,000 per bus, for a total of $118,000. Mr. McMackins.
Aye.
Mr. Mullins.
Aye.
Ms. Gannon.
Aye.
Chairman Thomas.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Number 15 on the agenda tonight is to approve the resolution 2023 number 1 and 2023 number 2. Mr. Curtis.
Madam Chairman, these are routine budget resolutions. The resolution BOE 2223 number 1. Summer camps had meals this year which were paid from food service budget. The revenue must be recorded in the revenue section of the general purpose budget, and the GP will reimburse food service. Reimbursement must be recorded in food service line items in the GP budget. Summer camps were budgeted in several places throughout the general purpose budget. And resolution number BOE 22-23, number 2, we received the Literacy Teacher Stipend Training Grant for $18,000. So that's a great deal right there. So those are the budget resolutions. That'll be sent to the County Commission at their September meeting.
Wonderful. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, we approve those resolutions.
Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr. Curtis.
Motion made by Ms. Gannon, seconded by Mr. Mullins, to approve budget resolutions number BOE 2022-2023, number 1, and budget resolutions number BOE 2022/2023, number 2. Mr. McMackins.
Aye.
Mr. Mullins.
Aye.
Ms. Gannon.
Aye.
Chairman Thomas.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, you have 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Number 16 on the agenda tonight is the approval of 4 restroom renovations at Caney County High School. Thank you, Mr. Nichols.
Thank you. This is just a continuation of last month as far as trying to finish up the process of getting all the bathrooms at the high school. I'd sent pictures previously to show you all kind of the conditions of what we had. We have the stalls ordered, so this would just be the flooring at this point. And like I said, we would take care of the painting and those items on that. So
Thank you.
This is just the stalls?
stalls have been ordered, like all the stalls have been ordered. This is the flooring, continuation on the flooring of doing the other 4 bathrooms from last month.
So the gym and the 2 by the cafeteria,
Those are the ones that have been already, that was in July.
they're done.
I mean, they're not physically done, but
They'll
they're,
be
yes, they will be.
just stalls, no floors.
No, that, it does have floors for those.
But
would
this
be-
is just for the other 4 bathrooms.
This is for the middle hall by the library and also by my office. So that would cover the flooring for those. But the stalls were all one package that was ordered last month, and that's every bathroom.
So you're asking,
For the flooring, for the other 4 bathrooms.
Okay.
I believe it was $4,500
$4,575
$4,500.
times 4, which is $18,300.
$18,300. Thank you, Mr. Curtis.
It
Just a
didn't-
little help.
It just didn't specifically say here, that's why I was asking.
Okay.
It didn't say that, it just says restaurant reservation. Obviously, you were approved, you already ordered it. The other part.
Yeah, I guess that's why I was confused. So we just have the stalls, no floor.
For the other 4 bathrooms will be completed from last month.
Right.
This is just the 4 other bathrooms,
Is it
Excuse me.
just stalls and floors or just floors?
just floors. Because
Okay.
the stalls, all the stalls is one package
Right.
deal for
Well,
everything.
that's what I thought.
I'm sorry to make this so confusing. I do apologize.
Well, what we-
Stalls for every bathroom has been
I'm just
ordered.
making sure I'm getting it right. So every bathroom's gonna have stalls, all 8 bathrooms.
All 8 bathrooms.
Okay, so we're good on stalls.
Yes.
And this would complete the flooring, is what I'm understanding.
This would complete
Yep.
flooring.
And what we might want to do is revise that when the motion is made, is to approve 4 restroom
Well, here's my,
renovations for flooring or something like that.
I'm gonna be the bad guy.
I'm also
I
gonna
don't
be
know
the
if we
bad
can,
guy in a minute.
I don't know if we can afford it with everything that Miss Melanie brought to us last night.
I
It can
think we
be,
can afford it in June.
yes.
I don't think we can afford it now.
Okay.
I think we need to wait till June.
We need to table this until June.
Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
know this is a lot of times you've come and asked for bathroom stuff, but
But all the stalls are done, so the kids.
Stalls
get-
will not be,
well,
stalls will not be installed.
I know, but that, all the
Until
stalls
the
will
first,
be
yeah.
done, is what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, could you repeat
All the
that?
stalls will be completed once they're all
Once the new
in.
flooring is put down,
Yeah, put
yes.
flooring first.
You gotta put the flooring first.
Yes.
yes. But we're
Because you don't
only
want to
2
put that
bathrooms short.
the stalls down on top of that floor and then have to rip the stalls out to install the flooring back down. So when you do this, you want to do this basically for the ground up. So you want to make sure you put the flooring down, then put the stalls on top of it.
Gotcha.
So I can do the 2 that are in the front lobby of the gym, the 2 that are across from the bathroom. If you guys want to wait, we can wait and do the middle hall and the one by my office in June if we need to. And I'll just hang on to the other
Okay, jog our memories one more time. What's the price for the floor?
18,000.
$18,300.
$18,300.
And our capital outlay is just taking hit after hit, and we've still got 2 air, we got all kinds of stuff.
I understand we
Yeah.
have air conditioning issues,
So-
we have,
Right,
I would rather have your gym good
me too.
before we got the
bathroom floors.
bathroom by your office.
And the,
Since it's still in good shape from what I understand.
and the one in
the
front
ones
for the
across from
cafeteria.
the cafeteria are
I understand, but
Yeah,
those are getting
they,
done.
yeah.
horrendous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those got took care of.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I make a motion that this is tabled until June of 2023.
You got a good place to put that store, what's coming in?
I'll second
Yes,
that.
sir. We'll have it stored.
There's a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Curtis?
I'm ready, Madam Chairman. Motion made by Mr. Gannon, seconded by Mr. Mullins to table this item until June 2023 meeting of the County Board of Education. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Chairman Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nichols.
Number 17 on the agenda tonight is to approve the transfer of the Auburn Gym area to the city of Auburntown. Mr. Curtis.
Madam Chairman, Mayor Turney and Councilwoman Harris addressed the board
Yes.
at the workshop, and they would like us to transfer a section of the property in which the Board of Education owns to the city of Auburntown. And that property, we've figured it somewhere in the neighborhood of an acre, that what they would need. So,
I just
Marty,
wanted
would you
to,
like to address the board?
Yes, I would.
Council Lady
Thank you.
Harris would like to address it.
we never asked for you to give it to us. We just asked for the plot to be separate. Chairperson Duggan is the one that asked you to give it to us. Just want to make that clear.
Can I ask a quick question? Because this was a question I had tonight. if it is separated into two different tracks, Miss Marty, would you guys you will be looking into that?
We
to
will
actually-
determine whether or not we will make the decision as to whether or not we would entertain bidding on it. We
Okay.
haven't made any real decisions on it, awaiting this outcome.
Okay. So you guys would like for it to be separated into two different tracks, not sold as one full property together?
That was our ask, yes.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification, Ms. Marty. I appreciate you. Thank you. Is there any discussion?
I have something. So I understand why y'all are here because it's very important to your community, and that's your job to be here and ask for that because you're on the Auburn Town City Council. It's also my job to look out for the students of Cannon County Schools and make sure that our money is used appropriately. It is in one of our policies that we don't represent any special interest groups. Considering that y'all don't represent a school or anything like that, it is my personal belief that I do think that that is considered a special interest group and that I really need to sell these together because it's going to be more money for our kids and our future. And it's nothing personal. I wish I could give it to you and it not really hurt the value of the property. But that's just what I think about it.
And I'm gonna ride off that. When I took my oath over at the courthouse, I signed up for the kids of the county. I didn't sign up for just the ones in my district. I signed up for every kid in this county because at the end, they all up into the high school. Y'all have a strong community, and that building, in my belief, is not going to destroy your community, whether it's sold, tore down, whatever. It's a building. Your community is the people. I have to look out for what's best for these kids that come from your community and every community in this county. And with that, I'm gonna make a motion that we keep them together and not separate.
I second.
Can we have some discussion before we do this?
You've got a motion and a second, and now's the time for the discussion, Madam
All
Chair.
right, thank you very much. I agree with the sentiments up here about the ones I do. Let's talk about those first. I agree that it's our job to look out for every child in this community. That was every child in the Auburn community, every child within the city limits of the district that I live in. That's every child on Short Mountain and all the other communities. I believe that wholeheartedly. When I said in the new board member orientation in Nashville for the state, that's one thing that was pointed out, was when you take on this role, it's for every child in your district. Every child in the entire school district. I need to make that clear. Every child in the entire school district. And I took that very seriously. That's also a policy that we have in our policies, that the board members look out for every child. So I'm with y'all on that, absolutely. I do want some discussion about, I think we had realtors last night, and I spoke to two today, that said it would be very unwise to just transfer this, but that something could be that we could split this. So my question to the two of you is, why can't we split that? What have you found? Because that was guidance last night, that they said we could do that. They didn't seem to have any problem with that. And the two that I spoke to today said that's it. That was a recommendation they gave. So I would like to hear that from y'all.
I also spoke to a realtor today, and he advised me that the price of the property could hurt the sale of the property if you split it in half. Because if the buyer wants both, he's liable to have to he's able to lose what he's come to get. And if he wants both, he's gonna have to fight 2 bidders or more bidders, but in the end, he's gonna have to win 2 auctions instead of 1, or vice versa if we don't auction it and put it up for sale.
Also, Ms. Harris said that she asked for the plots to be separate so they could potentially bid on the gym, not that they would bid on the gym. And I know that the Auburntown community does want the gym, but if they don't bid on the gym, who else is gonna want the gym? Unless it's tied to that property.
Can y'all afford the gym? If y'all bid on
If
it?
y'all think it was gonna bring 300,000, no.
How much do you think that gym's gonna bring? I mean, have you seen the real estate rate lately?
I don't think that Jim's gonna bring hardly anything.
When's the last time you've been in all of
Last year, ma'am.
inspected?
Well, no, I didn't inspect it, but
I mean, I've spent many hours preparing and working on and upkeeping. I can't see it bringing near $300,000. Structurally, it's built in 1937, so structurally, there's a lot going on in there.
have you been to Franklin, Brentwood, Nashville? Have you seen all the older farms that people are buying for millions of dollars that look just like that gym and they're redoing?
Yeah, but the land is in a different place.
But are they selling the farms together, or are they splitting them? You know, we have 2 properties split,
Yeah, but the way y'all are wanting the property split, you're really not gonna gain nothing from it. You want a half an acre behind the building,
I'm not here to gain something, I just want to preserve that building, that's all we want.
and I'm here to, I understand that, but if you're not gonna bid on it,
We haven't even been given an opportunity.
so how much, I mean,
If you don't split it, we don't get the opportunity to do it.
I mean, in reality, the acre's probably worth more than the building, the
Yeah.
land.
Yeah.
The land could really bring something, an acre lot inside of Auburntown. Why are you making that face?
Because I just don't think it will. The location.
Could
I've
be.
lived there all my life. It's, I just don't believe it's worth what y'all think it is.
I mean, my honest opinion, I don't know what, that's gonna become a public identity. It's gonna be, I presume if you bought it, it would be the city of Auburn owning it. Or you get some sort of 501(c)(3)
Historical
together,
society.
put together, and they buy it. But then it's a whole ball of wax. I see that you're gonna have to have that inspected. It's gonna have to start, come up to codes before you can even use it. I mean, you got by with this.
That'd be our problem.
True, I'm just stating what on the table here. I'm not saying I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know how much money is involved.
Back to the value of the gym. Whenever we were talking about our 5-year plan and restructuring and all this stuff, we had the round table, all that. Every person from Auburntown said there were so many people moving here. There are so many people, the land was worth so much out there because there were so many people moving in. And now it's not worth.
Not there.
It just sounds like the tune has changed.
No, the tune hasn't changed. The land where it's sitting is surrounded by other houses. It's sitting in a circle. That is not a desirable place to live. Where we're selling all our land is out on the main roads and back in the hollows. But that particular area is not a desirable place to build a house.
I'm not sure that the person buying this would build a house there. That realtor last night said that the disabled, like,
mm-hmm.
all kinds of stuff. Like, I'm not sure that this is gonna be a residential property. It's probably gonna sell as a commercial property.
I'm not sure it's desirable for that, but that's up to y'all.
Mr. Attorney, if I can ask a question, Madam Chairman.
Yes.
Mayor Attorney, is zoning in the city limits of Auburn, is there any zoning that y'all have in the city limits of Auburn?
Not yet. You may sell it out if you have to. It is in the city.
Right. We verified that on the map where the city limits come around there. And I think the city limits are kind of like halfway in that lot, if the dotted line on the deed map I'm looking at is the city limits. So, it goes about halfway down to where the property line is there. I didn't know if there was any zoning ordinances or anything like that in the city of Auburn.
So y'all say you're gonna preserve this building, but you're telling me how bad a shape it is. How you gonna preserve it when you only have $80,000 a year? And y'all are telling me you don't have no money. So I don't understand, and I've still not got an answer of what you're gonna do with it.
I don't understand why that's any consequence what we're gonna do with it.
Our primary purpose is to preserve the building, because it is a historical building that should have meaning not only to Auburn County, but to Cannon County. I mean, how many places in Cannon County are on the historical register? I can't think of any. You, Mr. Curtis?
Looking at it and studying that in a past life of mine, there are a few places that are in the National Register of Historic Places in Cannon County, but not very many at all.
It is really a unique
There are a few.
structure. It is not a normal building, and it has a lot of value to the people and that was evident when the school was burned and we opened back up after 2 or 3 days. That wasn't just the citizens of Auburn Town, that was the whole community that worked together for that.
Yes, sir. Ms. Crook?
So in the fall, we'd be able to apply for grant relief and start restoration and kind of get it back to what we'd like to be.
The city, you're talking about the city applying for grant?
Anyone can apply for grants, that runs it, but for historical preservation. So that doesn't come up until the fall.
While everybody's
Go ahead, Mr.
kind of pondering here, I want to make a public comment. Last time that we met and you guys was in front of us and I spoke to you as a conduit, I want to apologize to you if you feel like I disrespected you in any way. I had no intent in doing that. And if you felt that way, I'm sorry and I apologize. And I apologize to the whole community of Auburn Town because I did not mean to do a blanket sweep of a brush characterizing anybody in any shape or form. I think it was a small group of people that fought us. And I have friends in Auburn Town, so lots of friends. I've known for a long time. So I just want to clear that air tonight. I'm asking for an apology from myself to you that if I've hurt you in any way.
The reaction of that community shows you how much love they have for that building. I think that's evident. And the school there, that school.
We know that. We know that.
Great deal of meaning.
Some of that love didn't come too far towards us. That's the problem. In many cases, but that's water under the bridge for me. I want to tell you, I apologize in any way that I might have hurt you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Is there any more discussion? There is a motion and a second on the floor. Do they remain?
What are you wanting to do, Lisa?
Most of you probably don't even know that I live in Auburn. Try not to say a
But
I mean, it may, but,
Thank you, Ms. Clay. You had a question for me, Derek?
yeah, what do you want to do? Because I've been under the impression the whole time that we was giving it to them.
Okay. So,
That's what this says.
That's what this says. The
We gotta-
transfer.
Jennifer's motion.
right, that was Jennifer,
okay.
Chairman Duggan's motion last time.
That's right.
If you'll give me a second to make sure I can get all this out. We talk a lot, and a lot of people across our community laugh or make comments concerning the fact that we've talked about unity a lot. Unity is something that is very important to me. I think it gets things done in the most dire situations. Tonight, I came in here thinking that it was, that we had to transfer it or we had to auction or sell it. Miss Marty, I appreciate you coming up because I believe that we do have a compromise here of what we thought we were walking into. And I think a lot of us have been struggling with. I don't know. I had been struggling with it. It'd been on my brain a lot. I said a few weeks ago, I think it's time that we all start extending olive branches and begin to heal a little bit and making some moves to do that. I'm going to call you Derek, not Mr. Mullentraw. Derek, I see this as an option to do that. I think that we will still get a good sum of money from these two properties, but if they are subdivided, it gives the Auburntown community a chance to preserve this. And I'm a sentimental, emotional person. I said a few minutes ago, this job has taught me to be a little bit different about some stuff, and it's hard at times. But I understand where they're coming from. And I think if we divide this and sell it separate, I think that is a good compromise. That is my opinion.
I mean, you guys are absolutely sure that this is what you want? Because if that sells and you're not the buyer, then what happens?
Same thing that would happen if you make a decision not to subdivide it. It's gone.
True. I was weighing that against Jennifer's motion, is what I'm saying.
In a perfect world, yes, it would be nice not to have to buy. I'm not gonna lie, but
Just seems like a big gamble on your part, but
we're ready, we assume the risk of the ownership.
I'm talking about somebody outbidding you is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody outbidding you.
That's always possible. That's why.
And
So what if someone says that they're going to pay $100,000 for this? Are you gonna pay $105,000 for it?
Ms. Crook?
There, we have no chance to get it if we actually give it to us. We very much know, you said you're wanting this money to go back into the system for the kids. There's no way that we're going to be giving this, we know that. This is our only hope to be able to do it. And it doesn't matter if we pay $105,000 for it, or 25 or 10, it doesn't matter. Why does it matter what we're gonna be? We don't even know what we can do. We gotta get this step first, and then we gotta go and get our community together and see what we can get together.
I'm just not sure it's realistic to think that you could get it for $30,000 or I don't know your budget, I don't know your plan, and I just really don't think it's responsible for us to split these apart and roll the dice to do it. And I'm sorry. I wish I could give it to you. I just don't think it's fiscally responsible. I know,
If we
but in
buy
my
it, then
brain,
what's the problem?
But
with buying it?
what's your budget to buy it?
What do you mean we don't know? Because we don't know if we're gonna have the opportunity to bid or not. How can we know what we're gonna bid if we don't even know?
Can I retract my motion?
You can, yes, part of the procedure,
I'll
yes.
I'll
You
retract
can
my
withdraw,
motion.
you can withdraw your motion, Mr. Member, absolutely.
I'll make a motion that we subdivide it,
I second.
and the realtor looks at it, makes a suggestion of what it goes priced at, and what the realtor suggests, that's what the price goes on.
And that'll be subsequent to what you do in the next couple of motions down.
Yes.
Is what it will do. So your motion to subdivide the Auburn
Like I said,
elementary gym property.
I was told it says transfer. There was never subdivide, you never even mentioned subdivide last night when you had the opportunity to. In our workshop, we got transfer. That's where, that's why I asked questions last night.
Well, now, Mr. Curtis suggested that we meet there and look at the subdivision. And we did that before the workshop.
Correct, but on the agenda, it says transfer, which to me means give.
Which that was the motion. If I can clarify.
By the board was to give it to us. That was their
Yeah,
motion, not
yeah,
ours.
yeah. If I can clarify that, the state law does allow school districts to transfer property to any other governmental entity, long as it's a governmental entity like a municipality, which Auburntown is, under their city charter. I don't have a vote in this, but my deal is, my suggestion is, I'm torn. This is probably the most torn thing I've done as director of schools. And I'm torn because of my previous work with the Center for Historic Preservation at MTSU as a public history. Hopefully I was going to be a graduate until I assumed this duty, but I'm torn because of the historiography, literally, of that facility. But if you put it on the market, and I've told the board this a few times, if you put it on the market, places that are on the National Register of Historic Places are sold every day in the United States of America. It's not a restriction or not this, just the owner needs to know this is a historic place in the United States of America. So, this is when I have been probably torn on the most in my being director of schools. Because I see both sides. I see the economic side for the school system and the need for more funding, but I also see the historiography of that facility. And this is the oldest facility that the Cannon County Board of Education owns. And so I see a responsibility for that.
It's one of the oldest gyms in the state, and probably in a lot of others.
And I've looked at the application, it's 70 pages long or so. And in my last class before I became director, I trained to fill out that. And I would like to compliment Savannah Grandy on doing an outstanding job on that.
And Bobby Dutt.
And others that were involved in that whole process. I know Savannah because of her role at the Center for Historic Preservation. But let me advise the board this. This is a controversial issue, certainly, but it's not one this board faces either. I've seen other debates when I've been researching this on other school systems that were wanting to donate not just property, but entire schools to other school districts because they were in the county and they were battling the city of whatever. And I saw a debate at the state legislature about that last session. But it's a difficult issue, but I'm thinking if you withdraw your motion, and your motion, if I have it correct, is to subdivide the Auburn Elementary Gym and surrounding property, and the surrounding property, is that correct, Derek, or do I need to change that in any way?
Just be subdivided as the prints that we got
Okay.
surveyed. That should be done tomorrow.
Well,
Or
next week is what he advised. Motion to be to subdivide the Auburn Elementary Gym and surrounding property as presented. You want to do that as presented to the surveyor? We'll just have that to the surveyor, and I get that with Mr. Applebaum, which he already has copies of what we had done, Madam Chairman.
But that holds up no real estate whatsoever.
I'm going to put as presented to the surveyor. If you do it that way, Mr. Member, you do that to the surveyor, then you are limiting that to the surveying of the property itself, if you do that. And that does give the possibility, when you come down to your next motion down on the Realtor, to decide what you want to do there.
There's been a motion and a second. Is that the end of discussion, board members? Anything further? Mr. Curtis?
Motion made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Ms. Gannon. Is that correct?
No.
Nope. Who made that second? My apologies. Mr. McMacken, sorry, Ms. Gannon. Motion made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Mr. McMackins, to motion to subdivide the Auburn Elementary Gym and surrounding property as presented to surveyor. Did I read your motion correctly, Mr. Member? Mr. McMackins?
I'm really torn about this too. Because you may not know, but history is one of my buffs too, and I'm historically minded. And I know I put that second in. Personally, I just soon transfer it and give it to them. It'll be over with. They got what they want. I know we didn't get everything we wanted. I think it would be a good compromise and a good olive leaf branch out to that community. That's me. So I would have to, I could vote getting it surveyed, but
Yes, sir.
if it could be addressed maybe at another board meeting, maybe giving it to me. That's my opinion. So I'll vote. Yay, yay, yay. Old English. We ought to tell everybody about the Old English. Just want to talk about history.
We might do that in another after the
No,
motion
and
is
the yes
presented.
in
I'll
there
give the
means the
history
same.
lesson. Mr. Mullins?
To go off what Wade said, this does not hold nothing up on real estate.
Correct.
Uh,
Ms. Gannon?
If these are separate, are y'all going to put in an offer? No matter what the offer is, are you going to put in an offer at the city of Auburntown? Or is the city of Auburntown going to put in an offer on these if they're separate? Whether it's $1, whether it's $100,000? Aye.
Chairman Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays, and if I can have a parliamentary inquiry or statement?
Yes,
The
sir.
I, let me be a teacher just for a second. I is spelled A-Y-E-S. That's the I. So you know what that spells? A yes. It's Old English. That means the I means a yes. So
Thank you.
just thought I'd throw that in.
Thank you. All right. Moving on to item number 18, discussion regarding the Water Street School property as surplus. Ms. Gannon, I believe you asked to have that.
Yeah, I make a motion, we table that because we don't have anywhere to put the stuff that's stored in it right now.
When would you like to table that motion? I may to table it to,
Table it to March of 2023. There's not a lot that goes on in March.
I'll second.
Good thing.
motion made by Ms. Gannon, I'm sorry, Madam Chairman.
Yes.
In discussion.
Yes, sir.
Motion made by Ms. Gannon, seconded by Mr. Mullins, to table the motion until March 2023. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, you have 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Item number 19 on the agenda is to approve the realtor bids for surplus properties. Mr. Curtis.
Madam Chairman, you see the summary sheet of bids that was done. Do you want me to read those bids for the record, or what do you want me to proceed? Bids that were complete for that. Do you want me to read the bids?
You guys need those bids read aloud? I think we looked over them.
Okay.
They were all
Lot of
like the
discussion.
same percent, I feel like.
Same percentage, yeah. Yeah. I will say, just in discussion here, I was very pleased that we had 2 gentlemen join us last night. I'm under the impression they are on the same team. Is that true, Ms. Sissom? Yes, they're both with Reliant. One would be the gentleman that would lead an auction. The other is a gentleman that said he would do the actual real estate and put it on the market. Am I correct, that we were told that we could put it on the market for a small amount of time and then auction it if it did not.
Do we have any realtors on the Zoom?
Who is?
Can they hear us?
So I can direct that, I can direct that question to the gentleman on the Zoom.
He needs to turn on his mic, correct, Mr. Bedford? Can you turn on his mic, Mr. Stephen Russell? Okay.
Who?
Tell me when he's unmuted.
Can you please unmute your microphone?
Russell.
Mr. Russell, can you please unmute your microphone? Melanie, do you have a comment on that? Do you know?
No, just from what he presented the other night, that's what both of them said.
That's what you understood,
That's
okay.
the only way I
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can
It's
hear
Steve
you.
Russell.
Yes, we
Hey,
just wanted that
how you doing? Sorry, I'm in
clarification.
kind of a loud place.
Yes, sir, we just wanted that
What
clarification.
questions
The
what
clar-
questions did you have?
The clarification is, we did understand correctly that you guys could work together as a team and put it on actual, list it as real estate and for a period of time. And if that did not work out, then it could be auctioned. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. I mean, I'm willing to do a 2-month, 3-month listing, whatever it takes. I mean, even if we're involved in a 3-month listing and you want to auction it off 2 months into it, we can terminate that listing and go ahead and auction it. That's not a problem at all.
What do you think is an appropriate time to list it, like a time frame? Like, do you think 2 months or 3 months or?
I would think 3 months, but I also, at the same time though, I think we need to evaluate every couple weeks on, the desirability, the showings, the interest, any offers. We need to look at everything. We need to just keep evaluating as we go, and then we can determine the time frame on that, on pulling the plug on it. I'm hoping to be able to sell it and not have to go to auction.
So the surveys are supposed to be done tomorrow.
Next week.
Next week, I
Next
think,
week.
was Mr. Applebaum. I checked with him
The
today.
parking lot's done tomorrow.
I thought tomorrow was.
The parking
Oh,
lot's
okay.
tomorrow.
I thought tomorrow was too fast.
Yeah. Tomorrow is the parking lot across from County County Elementary, County County Middle, and they're saying that next week, within the next week would be the surveying for the Auburn Elementary School property and the Short Mountain School property.
Anything else, Chairman?
You guys have any more questions?
I guess we're just doing, this is just on the bids though, not whether it's up
So,
or
yeah,
what or.
right.
Right.
Realty bids for the
Just for them to
surplus
work with us.
property is what, this was rolled over from
Right.
the previous.
Right.
The previous, because you rejected the bids at the July meeting.
Yeah.
And then you rebid it, we reopened the bids, rebid it, had more realtors, so to give you some more options.
Okay.
So the motion, the original motion was to approve realtor bids for surplus properties.
All right.
So once the property's surveyed, will you put on the market or?
I mean, as soon as we're ready to put on the market, we will. I mean, we just have to get the photographer, you gotta get all the advertising in place before we put it on the market. So, I mean, we just need to figure out what we're doing. What exactly we're doing. I mean, so the surveys, how long is that gonna take to have them completed?
Mr. Russell, they indicate of us, and we don't do that, but the county finance office does that, and we're thinking 2 weeks from now is what.
That's quick. That's very quick.
So we had already had them on the agenda to do that, on the agenda for the board. We just didn't know which way the board was going, whether auction or whether going Realtor. So I would say and I'm just looking at the calendar, so I would say by August the 26th that the survey should be completed.
Okay.
And that's giving me a
I
little bit
mean-
more leeway than just last week, but you have to give the surveyor time, which you know as a Realtor. You have to give the surveyor time to get all the legal
Yes, sir.
stuff there done, but we're thinking, the county was thinking by by August the 26th would be what we need to do.
Well, that gives us time to have the pictures done, all the photography, video, drone footage. We could be very proactive on that and just be ready.
Any more discussion?
I'll make a motion.
So was it?
I'll make a motion we accept Reliant Realty's, 2 quotes from Stephen Russell and Steve Sandlin. One for the real estate and also the one for the auction part.
Okay.
For the surplus property of Auburn Town and Short Mountain Schools.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mr. Curtis?
Okay, if I could get the clarification on the
Yes.
motion, Madam Chairman?
Yes.
To accept Reliant Realty's quotes from Steve's, and I'll put the two Steves in there, Steve Stanley and
Stephen
also
Russell.
Steve Russell,
One was the auction and one was the real estate.
right?
They just done their separate.
Motion made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Ms. Gannon to accept the realty, the Reliant Realty quote from Steve Sandlin and Steve Russell, acting as agents for the sale of Auburn Elementary School and Short Mountain School. Is that, did I get your motion okay, Mr. Chairman? I mean, Mr. Mullins?
Sir.
Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you.
And I'll let Mr. Russell know when the surveys are complete, and we'll get them in contact with the surveyor for that information, Madam Chair.
Thank you for joining again tonight, Mr. Russell.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Russell. And moving on.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Moving on to item number 20. Thank you, Mr. Tenpenny, for making your way up. This is to approve the 2022-23 coaches supplements.
Madam Chairman, if I can, just before, this would be to amend. You've already approved at the last meeting the 2022-2023 coaches supplements.
Thank
And
you.
you will amend that, is what you will do, amending as presented.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Tenpenny.
I don't have anything unless y'all have any further questions. Probably not Mr. McMackins, but if anyone else has any further questions.
Does anyone? Yes, ma'am.
I discussed earlier that if they approved October 5th grade basketball, that there would be evening band.
Yeah, those were approved in July.
Excellent, okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
I had not seen that, so I just wanted to make sure we leave them
I
out.
apologize. I will share this with you.
Thank you very much. Do any of you have questions for Mr. Tenpenny?
I don't. I just want to tell him thank you for getting all the coaches in like we requested and doing as we requested.
Okay. With that, I would like to make a motion that we approve this amendment and move forward.
I second.
Mr. Curtis.
Motion made by Chairman Thomas, seconded by Ms. Gannon to amend the 2022-2023 coaches supplements as presented. Mr. McMackins.
Aye.
Mr. Mullins.
Aye.
Ms. Gannon.
Aye.
Chairman Thomas.
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you very much. Moving on to 21, again, Mr. Tenpenny, thank you for staying. We need to approve the Caney County High School athletics live streaming policy that was presented at the workshop.
And I did want to mention, I did make that correction, Mr. McMackins, to change the wording in that first bullet point.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Do I have a motion?
What did we change it to?
Agreement. We do not have a
Agreement.
contract, we have an
With
agreement.
contracted was
with DTC.
substituted to agreement.
Right.
That was emailed to you.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second that motion. Mr. Curtis?
Motion made by Mr. McMacken, seconded by Chairman Thomas, to approve Cannon County High School live streaming policy for the 2022-2023 school year as presented. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Chairman Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tenpenny.
I'm so glad I got Mr. Burks' supplement.
We appreciate Mr. Burks very much.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
He's been coaching a long time.
Long time. All right, number 22, discuss the sick days for our support staff personnel. This was discussed at our workshop, and due to needing to know some financial numbers and exactly how that could be done, we asked that some investigation be done into that and a report drawn up so we could maybe discuss that at a later date. Okay.
I'm making some notes, Madam Chairman, in regard to that investigation and report to be completed. Do you want to put a timeline on that, or you want to just?
Table it till March with other. Well, no, because it's budget. so-
You want to put through the FY 23 or 24, excuse me, the FY 24 budget process?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It'll just have to be
Yes,
part of
sir.
that process.
And no action will be needed. I'm just making an administrative note, Madam Chairman.
Thank you very much. We'll be moving on to item 23, and that is to appoint a deputy director of schools. Mr. Curtis.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to ask the board to appoint Dr. Marcia Melton as Deputy Director of the Cannon County Schools for the 2022-2023 school year as requested by Director William F. Curtis.
I make a motion, we approve the deputy director, Marcia Melton.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Curtis. Call the roll.
Motion made by Ms. Gannon, seconded by Mr. Mullins to appoint Dr. Marcia Milton as Deputy Director of Cannon County Schools for the 2022-2023 school year as requested by Director William F. Curtis. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Chairman Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Item 24, I believe that it was withdrawn, and so we will keep moving on. Ms. Hancock, if you need that at a later date, please let us know. Thank you. Item number 25 is Ms. Karen King is going to present a possible basketball schedule, which she did at the workshop for the 4th and 5th grade basketball teams at our elementary schools. Ms. Karen, you have anything else?
Anything else to add unless you have questions? I will say that once I finalize the schedule, I'll email it to you. If you'll just approve our dates, then I will let you know who we're playing at what time. And I will send you an overall schedule of where everyone is as far as practice and those kinds of things to show that we're not overlapping.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Mr. Curtis.
Motion made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Mr. McMackins to approve the 4th and 5th grades elementary basketball schedule as presented. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins?
Aye.
Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Chairman Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Ms. Karen, again, on item number 26, we'd like to discuss getting help with the cost of changing the locks at Cannon North and Cannon South. Ms. Cossey is joining you as well. And I just want to say thank you for getting a lot of things ready to present to us and some financial statements on that. And I'll turn it over to you, ladies.
Did you get my email today?
And it
Yes,
was
ma'am.
in there.
I
It was in there
apologize.
last time.
It
It
was
was.
in the packet.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to
Teresa
make
got
sure.
it in the packet, so we're good.
I
We're
got
good.
you.
Everybody's
Okay,
got a copy.
perfect.
I'm thinking, Ms. Karen, if I could, Madam Chairman, $1,192, is that correct?
Yes,
And
sir.
when I add that up.
Okay.
How much does Cannon South need?
So, Mr. David Calvin sent the bid over today, and it is $1,571.50 to rekey our entire building.
Okay.
And the difference is because we have more doors.
Yes.
And a need for more keys as well.
Okay.
Make a motion, we approve these key lock
I
quotes
second.
and one bill from Cannon North.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Mr. Curtis.
I think I have the motion correct. I'll risk it here. The motion made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Ms. Gannon, excuse me, to approve expenditures for exterior door lock changes at Cannon County North Elementary for $1,192, and Cannon County South Elementary for $1,571.50. Is that the correct motion?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Member? Mr. McMackins?
Our number one deterrent is locked doors. So, yes.
Mr. Mullins? Ms. Gannon?
Is there something wrong?
With me?
Oh, yeah, I don't know, the
No,
motion was right.
No, I'm just like, he said number
Okay.
one deterrent was locked doors. I'm
Okay.
like, yes, yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it
And
is.
I would definitely
And we
agree
are-
with that
we are
as well
suffering
as
some of the
Ms.
same problems.
I
so
would just
think
wanted
it's
to
a-
make sure the amounts
No.
were right, because
No,
you
no,
were
no, it's
looking.
good. No, I was just
Okay.
saying yes.
Aye.
Thank you for asking.
And Chairman Thomas?
Aye.
Madam Chairman, 4 ayes, no nays.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Very much.
We'll get with Douglas tomorrow, and we'll get that done.
Item number 27 is to revise the TSBA policies 4.403, 6.200, and 6.309. Mr. Curtis.
Madam Chairman, we received a thing from TSBA, and like I told you at the workshop, I think TSBA just missed it because of all the massive amounts of budget or things that we had sent them on revisions in that July revision. There's no changes at all from what you had passed in July, but we wanted to revise these, and TSBA know that these have been revised and been looked at and been redone. So that's the nature of motion. My suggestion to revise Cannon County Board of Education policies 4.403, 6.200, and 6.309.
Thank you. Do you have a motion?
As recommended by TSBA. Now, you are changing that a little bit because of the electronic threat. We know that, they know that, and recommendation by our safety coordinator is the same. Correct, Ms. Bonnie?
I'll make a motion to revise TSBA policies 4.403, 6.200, and 6.309.
I second.
Call the roll. Is that-
Okay, call the roll, please.
Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Thank you.
Motion made by Mr. Mullins, seconded by Ms. Gannon to revise Cannon County Board of Education policies 4.403, 6.200, and 6.309 as recommended by the Tennessee School Board Association. Mr. McMackins?
Aye.
Mr. Mullins? Ms. Gannon?
Aye.
Ms. Thomas?
Aye.
Chairman Thomas, there are 4 ayes and no nays.
Thank you, Mr. Curtis. Number 28 on the agenda tonight is a modernization and restructuring update. We talked in at length last night about lots of different things concerning this. Ms. Sissom, do you need to add anything tonight? Do you feel comfortable with everything? Okay, all right, thank you. We will be moving on to number 29, the director's comments. Mr. Curtis, you have the floor.
Madam Chairman, there are a lot of people to thank because of restructuring and modernization process. I did that earlier this evening at thanking our maintenance personnel, our custodians, our principals, teachers, everybody working hard for the benefit of Cannon County students. And we've had a good start. We've had our challenges, but as you heard last night, we met those challenges. So I'd like to thank our principals in particular for meeting the challenge. So my public acknowledgement of all of our principals that have done an outstanding job doing restructuring and modernization. My whole theme to the staff, that we had a staff broadcast back earlier on our first day of in-service. And what I said to them is, we are here now. And we are here now. And we are doing things now. There's a lot of things that we're working on, and visiting schools and visiting and honoring those that need to be honored. So my recognition of the tremendous work going on currently in Cannon County schools, at Cannon County High School, Cannon County Middle School, Cannon County Elementary School, and Cannon County North Elementary School, and Cannon County South Elementary School. And at this time, I'd like to give plaques to our outgoing board members, if this is an appropriate time, Madam Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to stay up here if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we're going to get a picture with this. I have to get my photographer or one of the other board members. That's not. It's my esteemed honor and privilege as the director of Cannon County Schools to give to Ms. Carly Gannon The last motion sheets that I ran off tonight, I had to run some more off. So I'd like to first give a motion sheet that is blank. You may have not seen one of those, but these are the ones that I have modified over the years. So at this time, I'd like to give this to Ms. Carly Gannon. First off, congratulations. And I would like to give this plaque, and Carly, if you'll hold it, I'll read it, Phil. And let me say one thing too. I'm proud, very honored. Carly was a government student of mine back in the day. And what Carly did, I'm thinking, I'd have to go back and look at my roles from 2008 to December of 2017. Carly, I think you're the first one of my former students to be elected to a public office. So thank you for the personal privilege, Madam Chairman, members of the board, that Carly was done. The plaque says, Cannon County Board of Education is honored to present this plaque to Carly Gannon in appreciation for your dedication or dedicated service as a school board member to the Cannon County school system on this August 11th, 2022. Would you give Ms. Gannon a hand? I'll be corrected when somebody sees the broadcast. Wait a minute, Mr. Curtis, I did this or I did that. You did as a government student, let me say that. And also, Madam Chairman, I do have Miss Jennifer Duggan's plaque, Chairman Duggan's plaque for her. And it basically says the same thing. I'd like to present that to her. If we have that special called meeting, I'd like to present that to her with the board's indulgence at that special called meeting and honor her. Its plaque says, I'd get a motion sheet for Chairman Duggan, and the Board of Education is honored to present this plaque to Jennifer Duggan in appreciation for your dedicated service as a school board member to the Cannon County school system this August 11th, 2022. So let me do that if I can indulge the board at that time, at the end of that special call meeting.
Yes, sir.
So thank you to these individuals, and I appreciate their service to the board. And and one thing I would say in closing, you say quickly, Mr. Curtis, closing, you've got your minutes. But let me say this to those listening in the audience and those listening by Zoom broadcast, is that being a school board member is probably the toughest job that I know about in elected government. Now, others would debate that issue, but I believe that being a school board member, you have to take in, and y'all have experienced that this evening, the complexities of issues. And not everybody understands the complexities of issues. So I want to commend these two individuals for serving, and I commend the board, the constituency of the board. You will be hearing from me of probably some dates in regard to a retreat and looking at mission, vision, goals, and beliefs as being the center point of that, and that discussion being led by TSBA. So thank you, Madam Chairman, for the opportunity to comment tonight.
Thank you. In closing tonight, we traditionally have chairman's comments. I want to promise that I'll keep this as concise as possible. It always is exciting to start a new school year. This is an exciting school year as usual, but even more so in the eyes of many. You can see that in the hallways of our schools. That's been reported, and I wish I could have seen it firsthand. But thank you. We have our principals here tonight. Thank you all for what you're doing. I would like to thank you for all being involved and so very helpful, especially Mr. Nichols, to make We Care Cannon a huge success this year, to start our year off great for our kids. We're extremely thankful to an area church that also is making sure that our children have a full month of free meals. And the spirit of We Care Cannon and an act such as that, the Experience Church has donated, that is absolutely phenomenal. And I just wanted to say that and say thank you publicly for that. I did want to say tonight, next month we'll start a new era in the board. We'll have a new board, and I did not want tonight to go without thanking our two outgoing board members. I wanted to thank Ms. Gannon and just say a few words. I think you're so multifaceted and multi-talented. I've seen that firsthand in lots of different areas. And when I heard that you were going to take this seat, I had no idea what I was going to be able to witness. I would say that you are, in my opinion, because I'm not as good at it at all, you're a financial genius. I think it's a beautiful thing to see a younger member of our community step up and say, I'm gonna champion our children, and I want to help them in any way possible. You've been amazing, and I want to thank you. Jennifer could not be here tonight. Miss Duggan and I came onto the board at the same time, and I did not know her. I knew of her. And I was very blessed to be able to spend our orientation together at the TSBA in Nashville, and I got to know her very quickly. First impression, she's a very hard worker. She's a champion and mother to so many for many years in this town and in this community. She's extremely honest. She is very emotional, but she can also put her emotions aside, and she is full of wisdom and discernment, and she is a seeker of truth. She's been very resilient in her role, and I think that we all have seen that. She's tireless, and in our house, we love the words of Dabo Sweeney. She's all in with everything she does. And it has been beautiful to serve alongside her. And I just want to say thank you, not just from the three of us, but for the children of this community, the teachers, and the school system. Thank you. You are valued. Both of you are. So with that, that's all I have. And I would absolutely thank you very much. Mr. Wayne Hancock has made sure that we have gravel that we needed to make things happen, and he is to be commended. Another act of service that we're seeing for our kids and for our school system. So thank you, Mr. Hancock. And with that, do I have?
Madam Chairman, that is
Yes.
phenomenal. Let me say that it's
Okay.
been a phenomenal, if you're leaving, and you're going to have to go out through the cones, by the way, folks.
Yes.
So when you go out by the cones, make a left and look over to the right, and you can see that is done phenomenal by the Cannon County Highway Department. So my appreciation to Mr. Hancock. I meant to say that earlier, but thank you for correcting that. And just, if you see Mr. Hancock, thank him for doing that. It wasn't free, but it was at substantial reduced cost for us. So thank you, Mr. Hancock.
Yes.
Very much so.
I'd also like to thank Jennifer and Carly for the hard work and the long hours they've all put in, especially on the budget.
Yes.
Budgets.
FY '24 coming.
It's been an honor to serve with y'all. It really has.
I have to second that. I really appreciate Jennifer's service, not only with us in the community, but her past and active service she's carrying on right now. And yeah, I really commend her for such an outstanding job she's always done, and will continue to do whatever she pursues.
Absolutely.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.